Yes, Daddy, everything's fine. No problems at all. Well, construction starts today on the new cardiac wing, so Alan's very excited about that. But you know, Alan, it doesn't take very much. No, I'm not minimizing it in the least. Listen, Daddy, would you do me a tremendous favor? No, that is not the only reason why I called. Please don't be so suspicious. And as a matter of fact, it happens to be two favors. I think that the 19th would be just fine. But why don't I check my calendar and get back to you on that? Thanks a lot for calling. Bye. Hello, Alan.
Hi, yourself. How's Dad feeling?
How did you know that was Daddy I was talking to?
It's very simple. Monica insisted that I phone Mother from the lounge, and she told me you were on the other phone with Dad.
Of course. There you have it. Two devoted children speaking to their parents.
What I don't understand is why did you go to all that trouble pretending it was somebody else?
That's very simple. Because I'm keeping secrets from you. You and Monica aren't the only ones. You keep things from me, I keep things from you.
What things don't we tell you?
There is a long list, Alan. Starting with the fact that I know you had an appointment with a doctor here in the hospital a few days ago. And you wouldn't tell me what was wrong, and I'm very concerned about you.
That's very touching. I wish you were as concerned about our father. He's still driving himself now, just like he was when he was 30, and Mother's very worried about him.
Oh, she's silly to be worried. He's as strong as an ox, and I wouldn't dream of asking him to slack off.
I know you wouldn't. Might stop him from making his next million, which he's probably going to leave to you.
Alan, that is a very mean remark. But more than that, it serves to change the subject. I asked you about you. Are you all right?
I've never been better. Dr. Fisher gave me a clean bill of health.
Why the sudden examination, Alan?
Tracy, there's nothing sudden about it. I believe in regular physical examinations. I'm a doctor. That's all it amounted to.
All right. I'm relieved to hear it.
Good. Now, if we can get off that subject and get on to Thanksgiving. Look, Monica and I are going to be flying down to see Mother and Dad for Thanksgiving. Would you like to come along?
Now you are inviting me to spend Thanksgiving in my own home? That's a very generous offer, Alan. Thanks a lot.
Tracy, don't turn everything into a contest. Just a simple yes or no will do very nicely.
Simply no.
All right.
I thought about it, and I think it's better if I stay here. Since we got Dan Rooney's new estimates on the operating costs, I think I better put my nose to the grindstone.
Well, if you ask me, that's a good place for it. And a lot safer than in other people's business.
If I were a thin-skinned person, Alan, that might have hurt me.
But you're not, so why discuss it?
All right, brother dear. I'll just bet I know what the big secret is all about and why you've suddenly decided to fly off to Long Island for Thanksgiving.
All right. I'll buy Tracy. What is it?
Monica's pregnant. Well, is she?
Whatever gave you an idea like that?
Lots of things. To begin with, you're more attentive to her than you ever were before, if that's possible. And secondly, you worry about her all the time, Alan, like she was an invalid or something.
You're wonderful, Tracy. Wonderful.
I'm wonderful.
You are really wonderful. You think that everything in this world has an ulterior motive. Did you ever consider the possibility that I just might be very much in love with my wife?
Alan, I have heard
Tracy, this subject is closed.
You know what, Alan? I think I'm going to go down to the cafeteria because I am finding your evasions so irritating. Who is it? It's me, Heather. Well, what a surprise.
Good morning. Can I come in?
Sure.
I hope you're coming to thank me for the dinner party the other night, the one you left so abruptly. So far, I have not received a thank you note in the mail. No, I am not here to thank you for anything, Susan. Quite the contrary. I'm here to ask you something. In that case, you don't mind if I finish my coffee and don't offer you any?
Susan, I want to know why you're pushing so hard for Mitch Williams to get involved in Jeff's private business with Cal Jameson.
I'm not doing anything of the kind. Mitch brought it up the other night, not me.
No, but you'd obviously gone on and on about it, even when Jeff said he wasn't interested anymore.
Well, if you must know, the whole thing intrigues me. Also, I'm very fond of Jeff, and I don't want to see anyone trying to con him without getting what they deserve.
Oh, that's just wonderful. And now, thanks to you, Jeff has asked Mitch to get a full report on him.
Good for Jeff. I think he should. I think he should find out everything he can find out about that guy and even put him behind bars if possible. I think you'd want the same thing.
All I want is for it all to stop, Susan, and I expect you to stop it.
Me? What are you talking about?
You'd better find a way to do it, Susan. Now, we haven't heard from Cal Jameson in several days now, and I'm hoping we won't. But if you don't find a way to call Mitch off, you're going to be very sorry, believe me.
Well, all I know is that she called in sick on Monday morning, and then one of the nurses saw her later shopping downtown.
Well, I think I'll let Jessie handle that one. That's a disciplinary problem that comes under her department.
All right.
Oh, Jeff, you're just the man I wanted to see.
What's up, Steve?
I was wondering if Heather asked any questions about your talk with Mitch Williams last night. I could see that she was getting upset. She kept staring at the two of you all the time you were talking.
Oh, yeah, she asked, all right. And I told her the truth about everything, Steve. Believe me, I feel a lot more relieved that I did.
How did she react?
Well, Steve, I think she's starting to deal with it a little better now. I tried to make her understand that this whole thing might mean that Steve and Lars could very well still be alive. And I think she's starting to realize that. She was definitely a lot more relaxed when I left.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I know it was hard for you, Jeff, to try and keep the truth from her. I mean, about the death certificate.
Yeah, Steve, it's hard for me to keep anything from her. But I hate it. And I don't like going around feeling guilty all the time. I just didn't want to upset her.
I know that, Jeff. Anyway, it's out on the open now. By the way, what are your plans for the day?
So, Miss Fleming?
Well, I have a couple of decisions.
Yes, operator. Yes, he's right here. Just a moment.
Jeff,
Yes, Dorothy.
I have a long-distance call for you.
Long distance. Hello, Dr. Weber here. Yes, operator.
Jameson?
I think so. Hello.
Good morning, Dr. Weber. This is Cal Jameson.
Beginning to wonder whether I'd ever hear from you again.
I'm not going to waste a lot of your time today, Dr. Weber. I presume by now that you've discovered that their baby's death certificate is a forgery?
Yes, I know that. And I'd like to know where I can get in touch with you so we can discuss all this.
Well, I guess that means I'm in the driver's seat again, doesn't it?
Yes, it looks that way. Where can I call you?
Well, sorry. I can't trust anyone just now, and I'm not giving out any numbers. All you do is get the money together and have it ready to be delivered on a short notice. I'll let you know where and when. But I'm not going to give you the opportunity to go through with your threat and call the police in. If there's any indication of that, if I suspect it for one moment, then I'm just going to disappear, Dr. Weber. You understand? I'll disappear, and you'll never learn anything more about the truth of your son. Do we understand each other, Dr. Weber?
Yes, I understand.
All right.
You're running the show for the moment. But when am I going to hear from you?
In a few days from now. So be prepared for my call. And remember, Dr. Weber, no police, or it's finished for good.
What did he say?
Well, he's reverted back to being the old Cal Jameson again. He's giving the orders, and I have no choice but to take them.
All right, but what did he say?
Just to get the money and wait. He said that he'd contact me in a few days, and then we'd set up some kind of a meeting. But Steve, he sounded scared to death of the place. So the guy's got to have some kind of criminal record.
Well, you'll know more about that when Mitch Williams gets his report back.
Yeah. I just hope I get a chance to look at that report before Jameson calls back again. I want to know exactly what kind of guy I'm dealing with here.
I'd like to see it myself, Jeff. Believe me, I would.
Haven't you learned by now that I don't like threats, especially coming from you? And what's more important, I won't stand for them, Heather. So you can just get out.
Listen, I'm not concerned about what you like or you won't stand for. You call it a threat if you want to. As far as I'm concerned, I am giving you a good piece of advice. Now, I want Mitch to forget all about Cal Jameson and that police report.
You are not even making any sense, Heather. What can I do about it? Jeff asked Mitch to get that report. I can't just butt in and tell him to forget the whole thing.
I don't care how you take care of it, Susan, but I think you're devious enough to find a way, and you'd better.
Would you mind telling me just why you feel so threatened by this guy?
Because he's obviously a criminal.
Oh, come on now. There's more to it than that. You know very well that Mitch could help have this guy put behind bars. And if he did that, he wouldn't bother anybody anymore. So why don't you just let him?
If Mitch wants to bring someone to justice, he can find plenty of other people. Now, I want this dropped, Susan. I mean it.
I see that. The question is, why?
Because I can't take any more reminders about Stephen Laws. I can't stand it. It's upsetting me terribly when I should be calm and collected.
It seems to me that that's something you're going to have to work out for yourself. You can't really expect the whole world to come to a halt for 9 months while you go off and have your baby.
I am not going to argue with you about it, Susan. But I warn you, if you don't find a way to keep Mitch from getting that report to Jeff, well, I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands.
And just what is it that you're threatening me with, exactly?
Would you like me to go to Mitch and tell him the truth about your divorce and what kind of girl you really are?
If you dare try anything like that, Heather, so help me, it's going to be the sorriest day of your life.
Oh, I am so glad to see that it frightens you.
Now, you listen to me. Mitch is the first chance at happiness that's come into my life in a long time. I also happen to love him, and I will not stand by and let you do anything to ruin that relationship.
I hope I won't have to, Susan. It all depends on you. Now, I have said what I came to say, so I will be going now. But just remember, it is all in your hands now, Susan.
What have you done with your gold medals?
She's an excellent... I am so excited about all this, I can hardly stand it. I can't believe it's happening.
Well, it is, so you better get used to it, Gary.
But it's too good to be true.
Not at all. What I need to know is when you can get into New York to meet Julian.
Oh, I talked to my partner. He says he's willing to cover for me anytime.
Good. Leave right away. I gather Julian wants to spend 2 or 3 days discussing where the book should go with you. He can be tremendously helpful, Gary.
Does he really like it that much?
He says there's a kernel of a great idea there, and it could be very commercial if it's given just the right twist.
It sounds wonderful.
You like Julian, Gary. I think you're both going to get along well. He's very bright, very sophisticated, and on intimate terms with the beautiful people. I'd call him. Go into New York this afternoon.
This afternoon? I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it quite that quick. We got the holiday on top of us, and Gina's very big on Thanksgiving, the family being together and all that.
Gary, ordinarily I'd tell you to wait, but I think you better strike while the iron is hot. Julian Drake could find another property that he's equally enthused about by tomorrow. If I were you, I'd strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, well, I know, but I also know how Gina's going to feel.
Gary, I'm very disappointed in you.
Why?
I thought you were a winner, waiting for the right opportunity to come along. Gary, the right opportunity has come along, and it's practically been handed to you on a silver platter. It seems to me ambition is made of sterner stuff.
Well, of course you're right, aren't you? You have to take advantage of these things when they come along.
Then do it. You wanted this to happen. Don't let it slip through your fingers.
Well, there are more practical considerations, too, you know.
Like what?
Well, like a place to stay. I don't have any reservations. I mean, you know, New York is going to be packed on a holiday weekend.
Gary, please don't worry about non-essentials.
Non-essentials? I don't want to sleep in Central Park.
I wouldn't let you sleep in Central Park. I'll call Alan. I'll have him make a reservation for you at his club. Besides, it's a very chic address. It'll impress Julian.
No kidding?
No kidding.
You are incredible. Oh, Tracy, you have done so much for me in such a short period of time. I don't know how I could ever repay you.
I don't want repayment, Gary. I love talent, and I like to promote it when I can. However, if you really feel obligated, there is, in fact, One small favor I'd like to ask you.
Really? Go ahead. Anything.
Good for you. There is something that I am dying to find out.